Okay, Ryokin. We're going to talk about Mausers. This is a Czech VZ25, sorry, 24 and 25, 24 Mauser. Don't laugh at my attempt to speak Czech, but deficit stigi. That's 24, I believe, in Czechoslovakian, whatever language. This weapon here is chambered in 30-06. It's been sporterized, not by me. It's sporterized. These are very hard to find, and they're even getting harder and harder to find. A true military configuration, I've only seen maybe 3 or 4 my whole lifetime. Um, the VZ24s were built under contract initially by the Germans for the Czech. So the Czechs wanted, after the post-war War One and the elimination or dissolving of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which formed Austria-Hungary, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Czech, and I think some other republic and part of Poland, all kind of developed because of that breakdown. Something went to Poland, and Yugoslavia started here, and Austria became a country, Hungary, and then we have another country called Czech. So the Czechoslovakian Republic, they didn't want to have their pants down, from my understanding. So they was impressed with the VZ98, and they went to the Germans and said, hey, I want you to build this model for me with these additional features. One of the coolest things that the Czechs did, which makes the VZ kind of unique compared to the later K98s, they use a dual sling swivel attachments. They also have the shorter barrel than the true VZ98. Actually, the VZ24, believe it or not, it is the mother to what we know now as the K98. The Germans were so impressed with what the Czechs did, or what they did for the Czech. Later on, like another 10 or 13 years later, they came out with the K98 based on very similar lengths and certain features that it was deployed on the Czech Mauser. So this is a little tip, a little history tip. This weapon itself is sporterized. I didn't do none of the sporterization. It has like a false wood laminated type of stock with fake cross bolts, heavy duty metal, bottom metal with a trap door release. This thing has also been, what do you call it, bitted. So it's been free floated and bitted. This barrel does not run in the channel or touch any part of the channel. Has our good classic target type style of hood or shield or whatever you want to call it. And we have a Nikon for optics. Rear sights that's on the barrel that's adjustable. One piece scope mount. On this side here, just basic full-length Mauser extractor. Now, all of my Mausers, this one is not the most smooth from the bolt handling. It's a little bit, it's there, but it's not my smoothest one. That's for sure. And that, like right there, there's another problem I don't like about this setup for sporterization. I just popped that safety off by accident when I put my finger down to pull that bolt out. That's something I don't really like about this setup. It's not a fault of this weapon. It's just the way that this thing is. This safety is a little bit. This safety is safe, but this safety is a little bit not as good as some of the other stuff I own. This weapon has what we call the C block. I got to go back and look things up, but I'm not sure. So it's a C block 2. So I'm not sure if that meant that it's the second running of the 2 series. But if you are familiar with how weapons back then were serialized, which you got to remember in Europe, this is something that just did automatically. The Germans, the Italians, the Czechs, pretty much everybody put serial numbers on things. The serial numbers were done in a block of 1,000 or 10,000, excuse me. So 01, 0001 to 99999, right? To 10,000 combinations. Once they went through the whole series, they reused the same numbers, but they pinned what's called a alpha lettering to the serial number. So in the next run, they will do, I guess, 00001A. Then there'll be B series, C series, D series, E series. They use every letter in the alphabet other than letters not in the Czech alphabet, which I think there's a few letters that are not there. This weapon, if I did it right with the serial, which I think I did it wrong now that I think about it, is this thing was built in 1929. This thing is over 95 years, 96 years old. And that kind of gives you an idea of how strong and reliable these actions are. These actions are some of the best actions you can get. A lot of other rifles were built or copied off some of the design of the Mauser, but the Mauser is probably one of the best rifle that you can actually get. That is a good hunting rifle, target rifle. They've been used exclusively through a lot of wars. People have built platforms or customizations like this one here. And another thing I want to kind of show you is a 30-06. This weapon, this barrel on this weapon, when I measured it out, is like 23.5 inches long. It's pretty long. The total length, I don't know if you can look at my T, this thing is almost 46, 45, 46 inches or so in total length. This one here is not a featherweight, but it's not a heavyweight rifle either. It's pretty light in the hands. So if you put this on a sling and you're carrying this or walking, you should be not too much stressed out from weight. One cool fact about heavy guns versus light guns: heavy rifles are good for high hitting recoil, but lighter weapons are good when you're on the foot in movement or transportation. So think of a soldier. If he's carrying around a 10-pound weapon with ammo in it versus a 7-pound weapon, you're going to have overall less, not wear, but just a less stress on your body physically because you're carrying less weight. But these hunting type of configurations where you're going to a blind, you're going to send in a blind, me personally, I prefer a heavier weapon just to cut down some of the recoil. But again, you're not shooting 50 rounds at a deer, right? You're going to be probably shooting one shot if you even get a chance to shoot a shot. The 30-06 is a very powerful weapon, or caliber, excuse me. Bullet's been around for over 100 years. This rifle could pretty much take anything in North America with ease. I would probably say definitely New Hampshire, Vermont, moose, all the way down to a stupid armadillo. You can shoot this thing with that deal. There's some kind of loading or availability for that. Does have a lot of recoil. Again, you're talking about on average about 150 grain bullet, traveling approximately about 2,900 feet per second, give or take. The 180 grains or bigger bullets or longer bullets, excuse me, those will be going probably more closer to 2,700, 2,600 feet per second. So it's going to have a little recoil, a little kick. It has pretty much the same kind of recoil as typically it's like a shotgun bird load, of a 12 gauge. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about 30-06s. It's still one of the Americans' most commonly used hunting cartridge still available. The Creedmoor is doing a lot to close that gap, but if you go to any ammo supplier or Bass Pro, Cabela's, Academy, Walmart, I can guarantee you I'm going to have more 30-06 loadings than any other caliber in those departments. Again, Czech VZ24 Mauser.